To use the Amenity Viewer to kickstart your earnings call preparation, first load in your target company as well as any key competitors and ecosystem participants. In this case, Lowe's is our target company. They report earnings on November 20th, so we have loaded in Home Depot as well as some home builders and other building materials companies. Step 1, go to the target company for a recap of what were the hot button issues last quarter. In the Amenity Viewer, this is as easy as going into the document and clicking through the prominent key drivers that are model identified. In this case, we see bullish comment on demand in the home improvement sector, and we see negatives driven by the restructuring efforts, including closing stores and headwinds from inventory out of stocks and reset disruptions, again related to the restructuring. You also see additional positive macro commentary. So the key takeaways from Lowe's last quarter were optimism related to the demand side while still working through some issues on the restructuring. What's happened more recently, we can sort by date to assemble the most recent data points from competitors and others in the ecosystem. We see Home Depot registered a downtick in their amenity score. And when we look at why, we go through their commentary around the environment and headwinds and tailwinds. We see reference of tough comps associated with the hurricane last year. And we see positive commentary around overall demand in multiple comments. So it's a rather similar picture to what we saw with Lowe's. What about others in the ecosystem, though? We go to DR Horton, a home builder, where we saw a more sizable downtick in the amenity score. And when we look at their comments around the environment from, again, the same headwinds and tailwinds category, we see uncertainty in the market, softer demand, more turmoil in the market, and softness over the next several quarters. We go to another home builder, Polti Group. Again, we see a similar trend in the amenity scores we saw for DR Horton. And when we go to the same category, headwinds and tailwinds that they're seeing softer demand, markets more challenged, and a more difficult environment. So we put all these pieces together. We see that Lowe's is coming off a quarter where they were optimistic about demand, still working through some restructuring issues. Home Depot most recently reported a slightly softer quarter, according to the amenity score, still putting on a brave face on the environment. But we're seeing signs of weakness in the builder specifically, including DR Horton and Polti Group just over the last few weeks. This is how you can get prepared for your next key earnings call in just a few minutes through the Amenity Viewer.